The sound of footsteps echoed down the marble hallways of Ashford Academy, a private school that looked more like a palace than a place of learning. The walls were lined with portraits of alumni who had gone on to become senators, CEOs, and global leaders. It was a school where perfection was expected, and failure was unthinkable. And yet, sitting at her desk in the back of the classroom, Olivia Sterling, daughter of billionaire mogul Charles Sterling, stared at her test paper, her hands trembling as the teacher walked by. Another red mark was scribbled across the top. Another F. Another disappointment. Her classmates didn't have to whisper, but they did anyway. She failed again. How can she be so dumb? She's Sterling's daughter. Money can't buy brains. Olivia's cheeks burned. She lowered her head, pretending to write something, but her eyes blurred with tears. She had tutors flown in from around the world, mathematicians from Oxford, scientists from MIT, language experts from Paris. None of it helped. No matter how hard she tried, the answers wouldn't stick. Numbers danced, letters flipped, and formulas looked like cruel puzzles meant for someone else. The truth was simple but unbearable: she was failing. Not just in academics, but in her father's eyes. Charles Sterling didn't believe in excuses. He believed in results. Sterlings are winners, he had told her countless times. There are no second chances. You either achieve, or you're irrelevant. At 14, Olivia already felt irrelevant. That evening, after another disastrous parent-teacher meeting where the instructors tiptoed around the word hopeless, Olivia walked alone toward the back courtyard of the academy. She didn't want to face her father's disappointment, not again. She sat on the cold stone bench, hugging her knees, fighting tears. That was when she noticed someone sweeping near the old gymnasium. A man, older than most of the staff, with graying hair, calloused hands, and a navy uniform that had faded from years of use. His broom scratched across the concrete in steady strokes. He wasn't in a rush, and there was no anger in his movements, only quiet patience. She had seen him before. Everyone had. He was the janitor. Some kids laughed at him, others ignored him completely. His name tag said Daniel, though most just called him Mop Man or Zero. Zero. The nickname stung even Olivia, though she'd never said it out loud. Students said he was a nobody, a single dad who only got the job because the school needed cheap help. They said his life amounted to nothing. But tonight, sitting alone, she found herself watching him. He hummed softly as he worked, almost as if he carried his own kind of peace. "You missed a spot," Olivia called out before she could stop herself. Daniel looked up, surprised. His eyes were warm, gentle, not mocking like the others. "Did I?" he said with a small smile. "Well, I guess I'll have to go over it again. Some things take more than one try." Olivia blinked. Nobody ever spoke to her like that, not even her tutors. They gave commands or judgments, not patience. "You don't understand," she muttered. "Some things can't be fixed, no matter how many tries you give them." Daniel leaned on the broom. "That sounds like something someone told you, not something you know for sure." His words stirred something inside her. For a moment, the heavy weight in her chest shifted, just slightly. Over the next week, Olivia found herself noticing him more. Daniel was everywhere, polishing the floors before dawn, fixing a broken light bulb, unclogging a sink. He never complained, never hurried, never looked embarrassed about his work. One afternoon, when she failed another math test, she wandered back to the courtyard again. Daniel was there, repairing a broken bench with a simple set of tools. She watched him work, frustrated and curious. "Why do you even bother?" she asked suddenly. "It's just a bench. Nobody cares if it's broken." Daniel glanced up. "Maybe nobody else cares. But I do. And if something's broken, it deserves a chance to be whole again." Her throat tightened. She wanted to argue, but instead, she sat down across from him. What if you're the broken thing, she whispered. Daniel set down his wrench and studied her carefully. Then you start at 0. She frowned. 0? 0 isn't failure, he said. 0 is the beginning. Everyone wants to be at 10, but they forget you can't get there without starting at 0. That's where learning begins. That's where patience lives. That's where second chances are born. Nobody had ever explained it that way before. For the first time in months, Olivia felt like someone wasn't measuring her worth by a grade or a surname. Daniel wasn't telling her she was stupid. He was telling her she had a beginning. Over the following weeks, a strange friendship formed. Every evening, Olivia would slip away from her tutors and find Daniel. He never gave her tests or long lectures. Instead, he taught her in ways that made sense to her world. When she struggled with fractions, he brought in a pizza box and showed her how to divide slices. When she couldn't understand science formulas, he showed her how mixing soap and vinegar in a bucket created bubbles. When she froze at reading passages, he read with her, slowly, patiently, until the words no longer felt like enemies. See, he'd say with a grin. 0 to 1. That's progress. Bit by bit, Olivia's world began to change. But secrets don't stay hidden forever. One rainy afternoon, her father showed up at the academy unannounced. Charles Sterling was a man who commanded silence when he entered a room. Tall, sharp-suited, with eyes like polished steel, he carried the aura of a man who bent empires to his will. He found Olivia in the courtyard, laughing as Daniel showed her how to balance a broom on her fingertip like a math equation. What is the meaning of this? Charles's voice cracked through the air. Olivia froze. Her laughter died instantly. Daniel set the broom down slowly. Father, she stammered. You're wasting time with the janitor. Charles's face twisted in disbelief. I hire the finest tutors in the world, and you choose this? Olivia's heart pounded. For once, instead of shrinking, she found her voice. Because he's the only one who teaches me how to actually learn. Silence. Rain drummed on the stone floor. Charles's gaze snapped to Daniel, filled with disdain. You will stay away from my daughter. Do you understand? You're here to clean floors, not interfere in her education. Daniel met his glare calmly. With respect, sir, education isn't just about books. It's about finding a way to reach someone's heart. That night, Olivia cried herself to sleep, terrified that her only friend would be taken away. But fate had other plans, plans that would test kindness, courage, and the meaning of true success.